London has finally been reworked in a Microsoft Flight Simulator. This comes as a part of World Update 17, which features the UK and Ireland. There's some absolutely stunning footage on the screen right now, which comes from the release trailer, and those cliffs in Ireland look absolutely gorgeous, don't they? Not to mention many of the castles around the countries as well. Now, this isn't the only world update that's been discussed. Brazil is another world update coming in the not too distant future. Now, this one has been on the roadmaps for a very long time at this point. However, it's now in the final stages, so should be released in the not too distant future. Whilst Microsoft have said it's not in the next weeks or the next month, it is very much coming soon. And we'll get into more details on all of that in just a moment. One thing that is coming soon, however, is dinner, or I guess depending on your time zone, it could be lunch. Thankfully, we have some help with this from today's sponsor, HelloFresh. In today's fast-paced world, finding a meal service that aligns with both our health goals and busy schedules can be challenging. HelloFresh stepped in as a convenient solution, delivering fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes right to your doorstep. HelloFresh offers a variety of meal plans catering to different dietary preferences like vegetarian, family-friendly, and low-calorie options. Each week, you choose from a wide range of delicious meals, ensuring you never get bored with your meals. What's even better is their current promotion, 10 free meals plus appetizers for life. This offer is a fantastic way to explore their service and enjoy great meals without the hassle of meal planning or grocery shopping. Using HelloFresh is incredibly easy. No more long grocery lists or last-minute trips to the store. The ingredients are fresh and the recipes are designed to be simple yet flavorful, making healthy eating both easy and enjoyable. Experience the convenience and variety of HelloFresh. Click the link to get started and enjoy the benefits of delicious home-cooked meals delivered to you. Elsewhere, the World Hub, that feature that allows people to jump in and customize airports, fix them, change them for whatever's needed to improve them and make them more accurate. That feature, only still in alpha, recently released in fact, is about to be closed temporarily to reopen later on at some point next year. This is all down to the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Talking of which, the 2024 edition is going to get a load more details in September. Jörg Newman, head of Flight Simulator, has revealed. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing all of that. Elsewhere in Flight Sim 2024 is a new feature here that was briefly discussed in the recent Q&A. This highlighted some of the new UI elements, which went into detail on how the controller bindings are going to work. So controller bindings are pretty complex when it comes to Flight Sim 2020. The whole thing is going to be somewhat improved for the next iteration of the sim. In fact, it's going to work as follows. There's going to be a new multi-layered approach to controller profiles. So here's a breakdown. There's going to be 3 separate profiles, or 3 separate layers, as it were, to a controller profile. So choose your joystick, choose your HOTAS or whatever controller you're using. You'll then have the following 3 layers. The first is general purpose. This is the base layer that sets up the common controls that work across all aircraft. So your joystick's throttle will always control engine power. Your other pedals will always control the yaw and so on. The second layer is aircraft type. This layer allows you to adjust settings specifically for certain types of aircraft. For example, if you're flying a helicopter, you might want to remap some of those buttons to control the rotor pitch. And the third layer is the specific plane layer. It allows for fine-tuning for individual planes. This means if you're flying a specific model of the Boeing 747, for example, you could customize the control mapping to suit that plane's unique features and systems. Essentially then, what this means is that once you've set up your controller profiles, all these multi-layers, to fully go, you're bound to just jump into different aircraft and control them all uniquely, each with one single joystick, one single HOTAS setup. It's a very nice streamlined setup. It might be complex to initially set up, but once it's done, this dynamic nature is going to be a big step up over what we have right now. There was also a mention of the ability to adjust controllers whilst flying, and although we can do this right now, the suggestion rather seemed to be that it would be very much possible to allow for quick changes and remaps as you're in flight. The other element to all of this is community sharing. Controller profiles will now be able to be saved in packages and shared with other players and other simmers, and this will make it far easier to find pre-configured profiles for specific hardware setup, something I know a lot of people would very much like to see. Okay, so some more details on World Update 17. Now, this was released today, so if you want to go and download that right now, the updater is available and you can then head into the in-sim marketplace to download your free version of the World Update. Now, like I say, this focuses on the United Kingdom and Ireland, and it has 16 city updates. These include in England, Bristol, Brighton, Greater London, Heathrow, Leeds, Bradford, Liverpool, Newcastle, Sunderland, Welling and Wembley. There's a bunch of other cities elsewhere, Cork, Dublin, the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland, Edinburgh and Glasgow in Scotland, Cardiff in Wales, as well as Gibraltar. There's 79 new points of interest dotted all around the various countries and 5 handcrafted airports. These include Farnborough, London Stansted Airport, Cork Airport, Sandburg Airport in Scotland, as well as the Cardiff Airport in Wales. All in all, it looks like a really nice update, and I'm specifically interested in seeing how London has turned out this time around. After all, let's not forget that this is the second time that the United Kingdom has been updated. London was reworked shortly after the release of Flight Sim, and, well, it was all a little bit of a disaster. Unfortunately, London just didn't turn out that well. It seems then that has at last been fixed. Now, I touched on the Brazil World Update earlier in the video. Bjork Newman shared that the Brazil World Update is nearing completion. He explained that they were waiting for air traffic control authorization to fly over a large city in Brazil to capture the necessary data. Now that this authorization has been granted, they have all the data they need and it's being processed for inclusion in the sim. When the data is ready, he emphasized that it takes months for the team to implement and integrate it into the sim. So, whilst the Brazil World Update is coming soon, it's not something that will be released in the immediate future. He did confirm, though, that all the city data is done, so the update is focused on finalising the implementation and the integration. I know very much that the Brazil World Update is something that a lot of people have been requesting for a very long time, and it's going to be very nice to at last see some updates done in Southern America. A little bit more clarification on the World Hub. Microsoft have been overall very happy with the way the World Hub has been going. There's been quite a few hundred people actively involved in updating various airports and airfields all around the world. These in fact have been approved, many of these changes, and implemented directly into the sim. And just as a quick explainer here, this is utility that allows people to go into various airports around the world and modify them to make them more accurate. Those updates are then uploaded to Microsoft, who approve them as long as they're accurate, and then release them and distribute them to the wider simmer base or the wider player base. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately perhaps, with the advent of Flight Sim 2024, the world data is going to be dramatically changed. In fact, this world update, not the world update, but world data, that's the mapping technology and everything else, is going to be shared between Flight Sim 2024 and Flight Sim 2020. So yes, both versions of the sim are going to be getting some significant updates in the not too distant future, very soon in fact. And what this means for the World Hub is that any changes made right now will become irrelevant after this update. That means, Microsoft don't really want to see people wasting their time making changes to airfields right now, only to have them make the same changes again later on. So with that in mind, what they're going to do is temporarily close down the World Hub, then reactivate it later on. I do believe at some point next year, after Flight Sim 2024 has been released in November. So there's that. It looks like that World Hub isn't going anywhere though. This is very much a long-term plan. And talking of long-term plans, there's the Top Gun update. This is the DLC that was released around about the time of Maverick. Now, many of you may remember the DLC was coming to an end. It was going to be removed from the marketplace. Microsoft have been in discussions with Paramount trying to extend that, and right now they're aiming to extend it for another 2 to 3 years. It's still uncertain at the moment, but for now it's looking quite good. Keep in mind that those of you who have access to it already will retain access, but it won't be available on the marketplace as of now, as of the 22nd of July, and until Paramount and Microsoft have come to a new arrangement on this. Now, we also have a little snippet of information on VR. I've seen plenty of people in my video comments asking whether or not Flight Sim 2024 is going to support VR. Now, Microsoft didn't go into extensive detail on this, but they said that when it comes to Flight Sim 2024, VR is being viewed as a development platform alongside PC and Xbox. That means Microsoft are not simply viewing VR as an addition, but rather as a full-blown platform. That means it should see full-on development in the same way that PC and Xbox have. So that means that, unlike with Flight Sim 2020, where VR was added in afterwards, Flight Sim 2024 is being developed fully with VR in mind. That means that the new version of the sim should have everything in terms of VR that the previous version has, plus hopefully a bit more as well, and maybe even some better performance. We'll have to see on that. At any rate, that brings us to an end of this video. A whole load of things going on this week with Flight Sim. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end, and my thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Do take care, and I'll catch you soon.